Okay, welcome everyone. It says so I'm recording. My name is Paige Evanson, and I'm with my new friend Jody Whitaker, and we are going to do a series of getting to know your leaders at Newspring, especially in particular for our Clemson campus. Oh, I don't know if that just now is recording. So either way, did you hear it say recording in progress, Jody? Okay. All right.
It
Well,
is.
anyway, this is going to be our first one. So just bear with us if we have any glitches or anything like that. We're going to keep this definitely under 30 minutes. So we won't take all of your time, and you watch this whenever and feel free to share it with your friends. But we just want to get to know, we want you all to get to know us better. And that way, hopefully you'll be able to come and serve with us in the women's ministry. So my first guest on our little Zoom calls here is my new friend, Jody. Jody and I actually, we don't know each other super well. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's totally fun, but she was willing to jump on here. So I have a series of questions for her. So my first question is, Jody, I want you to tell us where you're from and a little bit about your life.
Okay. So born and raised, grew up in Illinois, and this May will be married 28 years. And my husband, we're kind of gym rats. We met in health club, and we met, and by date 5, we realized there was an age gap, didn't really know what that looked like, found out it was 17 years, and we kind of sat silent for about 5 minutes straight, like, oh my gosh, what do we do now? Fun fact is that he has 2 boys from his first marriage, and his oldest son's name is Jody also. So we have Jody the boy and Jody the girl, spelled the same way. Kind of funny.
My goodness.
So
how old were his kids at the time?
So they were middle school and high school.
Okay.
So when we met, I was 24, he was 41. You can imagine the silence in the room then. And if I could only cash in on all the bets of people who said we'd never make it, that'd be really kind of fun to do. But there's a happy ending as we're still together now. And actually in 2 weeks, it'll be 30 years ago we met, which is kind of crazy.
No way.
So yeah,
that's
so that's kind of fun. So he has 2 boys from his first marriage, and then we have 2 boys together. So I jokingly said to him, you don't know how to make a girl, so we don't even need to have a conversation about another one.
That's right.
So his oldest 2, Jody and Joel, are in their 40s. Jody is married and has 2 daughters. So I have 2 granddaughters, which is even more fun to borrow and give back.
Yes.
And Mackenzie and Michaela are actually coming to visit in a couple of weeks. So that'll be super fun that I'll get my girl time in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And they live in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, right over the border of Illinois. And then his second son is out in Idaho. So unfortunately, we don't get to see much of Joel. Distance makes it much harder, especially now that we're farther east.
Oh, yeah.
And then Randy and I have 2 together. So our oldest, Zach, graduated from Baylor last year and is living life as a 23-year-old and living his best life with his girl and his job. And
so good.
He's all good. And
what did he get his degree in?
So he is a finance major, but also did the pre-med track, took his MCAT, is still deciding if he wants to pursue medicine because he's not real thrilled with the way medicine is going right now. Okay. And he's loving his job in finance. And he opened up a side business. So he has a lot of entrepreneurial spirit. So we'll see what that looks like, but he's loving it right now. He's in Houston.
Okay.
And then our youngest, when we chose to exit Illinois and move to South Carolina 2 years ago, we gave him the choice to come or stay. He did not want to go to college yet. Okay. He chose to stay. And then shortly after learned how hard adulting is, working 3 jobs at 19, and was like, what in the heck did I just do? So he started at Illinois State last fall. So he's just entering college. So he's, a little on the late track there of entering, but doing good. Okay. So we're hoping someday he'll come this way to us to South Carolina, but we'll see. His girl's at Western Michigan. So I don't know if he'll stay in the Midwest or not.
Have they been down to experience the lake in the summertime?
No, they only came for the first time at Christmas. And so we're hoping to have a 4th of July thing here with everybody here for the 4th.
Yeah, you totally do. It's a whole, I feel like it's a whole nother world here in the summertime. And
I will say when he was here at Christmas, it was 70 degrees. And the day they all left, they went back to a snowstorm. So that kind of spoke volumes too.
Yes. Yes. Okay. A lot of people are moving to South Carolina. So tell us, how did you end up at Newspring?
So back in Illinois, we went to a rather large church called Willow Creek, and that's where both Randy and I got baptized. We both had grown up with faith, but then deepened our faith through that church. And once we knew we were going to move, we started prepping the house during 2019, 2020, and we always had planned to exit the summer of 2020. So when COVID hit, I said to my husband, Randy, why, if everybody's going virtual, why should we keep tuning into our current church? Why don't we start exploring other churches?
Okay.
So we did some little digging around and finding some other churches, and we tuned into Newspring and fell in love with it. And so our house sold in 4 days, and all of a sudden we were down here a month later. It happened really fast. And we actually rented in Greenville for a year. So when we went to Greenville, they weren't doing live services, but they had a prayer vigil every Sunday night. So we went there, and I met Ryan. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on Ryan's last name. Ryan Kirkland.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know Ryan, but he's this cute young thing who's 30 something maybe. And he was at the bottom of the escalator, and we said we were new. So he escorted us up, and here I found out he was one of the campus pastors. Had no idea.
No way.
And so he was super sweet. And then my husband met a gentleman in front of him and literally turned around. And I mean, we've been in Greenville a week at this point, right? And the guy says, hey, I'm in a small group. We have one spot left. Do you want to be in our small group? And so my husband found a small group week one of us being in Greenville.
Wow.
And so we had to tune in virtually, I think, for about a week. And then we started attending church. And so we attended Greenville, loved it. And then I got connected through a friend that a friend of mine messaged me saying, hey, I have my sister's best friend is leading a women's ministry, and I think you need to meet because I think she's at the church you're now going to. And lo and behold, it was the lovely Trisha Dempsey.
Oh,
so
no. That's so cool.
Here we are, brand new to the area, and I get to meet Trisha right out of the gate, and that was lovely. And so then I started going to both women's events. So Greenville's was on Monday and Clemson's was on Thursday of the same week. So I just drove back and forth for the two for the women's event. I did. And then we did go check out the Anderson campus once just to see the campus. And then came out to Clemson a couple times. And then a house became available that we won the bid, which kind of shocked us. And so we moved again. So we moved 5 times between us and our son in 12 months. So it was a little crazy.
That is nuts. Do you have pets?
Yeah, so we're here.
Do you have pets as well?
We did. We had to put our dog down 2 days after we moved to Greenville. So that was really hard. She was a black lab. She was 12 and a half. But so we did. But so we did both campuses. And once we got here, we said goodbye to everybody at Greenville. We'll see you when we come visit. But then we kind of both dove in head first at Greenville. And I've loved it.
So are you currently in
Clemson?
So are you currently, do you have a small group that you're a part of right now, or just women's gatherings?
I don't, but then my husband met Trisha's husband, Jeff. And so my husband, Randy, is in a small group with Jeff. And I'm doing more of the women's group. And I think probably the favorite thing for me, the avenue I chose to jump into is this mentoring program that Trish started. And most of the other mentors that we all started in the fall together, most of us are all transplants. So not only the building into the other girls, it really helped forge community within us mentors as well.
Oh, definitely. There's something, I feel like God has been bringing a lot of new people. I know I'm a transplant person up here from Florida. So I'm like, okay, I need community. I need some people to get involved with. And I feel like, and the Clemson campus, there's a lot of transient people just because it is a college campus and there's a lot of college students that come and go. But then I know there's a lot of seasoned women that are here at the church. So tell us more, like when you came to Clemson, the women's gathering, and so Trisha plugged you into being a mentor in that mentoring program. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So we were talking one day, and both of us had kids away at college where they're not, here in our backyard to see all the time. And we were talking about how cool it would be to have kind of a local family, if you
Yeah.
will, to
Yeah.
love on the kids, take them in for Easter, kind of act like a local mentor if you need it, type of a thing. And so we talked about what that would look like. And she said, I have this idea. And Randy and I really struggled with how quickly do we want to jump into serve and
Right.
where do we want to serve?
Yeah.
And our first serving opportunity actually came over the weekend last year, that we were house hosts and we were
Oh,
play hosts where
for
we
the
took our
week.
boat out.
Okay. For the Fuse, for the weekend. Okay. My kids, I had
Yeah.
2 kids, go to that.
Right. So that was kind of because that paralleled a lot with how we interacted with our old church. And so we jumped in there first. And so people had been approaching me like, what do you think of rally? What do you think of that? And both Randy and I thought we're not ready for an every week thing.
Right.
And so when Trisha explained that the commitment is to pray daily, to talk weekly, and to meet once a month, and then anything beyond that is between you and your mentee.
Yeah.
I was like, that I can do. And I did actually have, for my son, Zach, 2 families in Texas that he went to, one at Thanksgiving and one at Easter every year. They happen to be fraternity brothers of his.
Oh.
So he kind of had that, just not through the church.
Okay.
At Baylor. And so I thought, what a cool thing to be able to give back and offer to other students since we are so close to Clemson.
Oh, yeah. So do you already have a person that you're mentoring? Like, do you have?
I now have 2. So my original girl, who I'm still with, her name is Sandra. She is in her PhD in math, and she's from Madagascar.
Oh, I know Sandra. Yes.
Yeah. So that was kind of a shock, just in the fact to have somebody from Madagascar.
Yes. Yes.
So that's really fun. And then I just met my second one at the women's group this last week, and her name is Sydney. Unfortunately, she's going to be graduating this semester, so I'm really only going to get a few months with her, but she is going on to med school at MUSC. Oh my goodness. We're actually meeting to go do coffee and walk tomorrow.
That's so fun. You're getting so many fun young ones. So I lead a rally group, and my rally girls actually just left right before we got on this call. And it's so rewarding and so fun to get to hear their stories and what they're going through and what all they're dealing with. And I do the same thing. I take them on walks with me. I have 3 dogs. So I'm like, okay, if anybody wants to meet for coffee or go for a walk, I've always got to walk the dogs. So come on over. And now that we have extra daylight out, which is awesome with this daylight savings time. So we're going to be probably doing some more evening walks, more so than just in the early morning. So
that's awesome.
Well, what is it that you know now that you wish you would have known when you first started at Newspring, or even started in church in general? So if you came from Willow Creek, which was a large church, have you been in small groups for a long time? Like, has that been a pattern throughout your life, or is that something that's new?
So I grew up Catholic. So way before that, I grew up Catholic, left the Catholic church to go to Willow. Okay. Once we got to Willow, we did do small groups. We also served, I did a lot in the infant serving. Then I was a greeter for the kids ministries. And then where I spent most of my time is I helped co-lead and table facilitate a program called Moms with Teens. And that was a pretty big program. We had about 100 ladies in that. And we met every Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. And that was really big for me because I will just say, as a mom, teenage years were not my shining moments. No. Bring me the babies, give me the kids in their college where some frontal lobe is developed, and I'm all good. But there's about a decade in there that were not my shining moments as a mom. And so I think that's what drew me to the mentor program, is it's that next step up past high school kids where they're a little more back to reality, I'll call it. So I have not done small groups in probably a decade, that I've done them on and off, but I found more of my connection with fellow leaders in either Moms with Teens or now this mentoring program.
Yeah. And so if you're hearing this and you would like to start a Moms with Teens group, you just reach out to myself or Katie or any of the people, like, let's get that launched, because the church I came from, they have some moms of teens, but we had moms of preschoolers. We actually did MOPS. I don't know
Right.
the moms of
Mhm.
preschoolers. And then as we aged out of that, we needed the next thing. So just started doing small groups and Bible studies and stuff like that. So there's such a huge need. I think in our community, I know we have a lot of college students, but there's a lot of teenagers in our area and parents going. So if you're hearing this and you think I could probably lead a group like that, or at least be a part of it, reach out to
And I
us.
could help teach, like help coach them how to run the class. Cause we used to do the fall semester
Yeah.
was a soul searching book, if you
Okay.
will, and more filling you as a parent with your
Right.
faith and your soul. And the spring semester was more of the how-to book, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name of the book. Another fun fact, my favorite book in the whole 8 years that I did that class is called Mom Set Free by Jeannie Cunning. So
Oh,
if any of
yes.
you, do you guys know Jeannie?
No, but my very good friend is actually reading Mom Set Free. And I was like, please pass it on to me as soon as you finish it.
So here's the fun fact. Her parents live somewhere on Lake Kiowee
No
and she
way.
vacations here. So when I keep I'm sorry if she thinks I'm stalking her. Like, I'm really not trying to be creepy, but I'm like, could we please meet for lunch? Like, I see her post pictures of Lake Kiowee or coffee
No
or
way.
something. So
Okay.
if y'all see Jeannie Cunning, her parents live somewhere on the lake, but I had a lot of mom guilt coming off of parenting teenage years, and
Okay.
that book was a saving grace. So my
Oh,
favorite book in all 8 years is called Mom Set Free.
okay.
Was a
So
fabulous book.
I cannot wait to check that one out because my friend has been talking about it a ton. My favorite teen parenting book right now has been Feeding the Mouth That Bites You. And
Mm.
there's a podcast called Feeding the Mouth That Bites You, and it's a psychologist with two moms who have, one has like 4, one has like 5 or 6 kids. And anyways, it is so great. Such a great
My
resource.
favorite how-to book, it's a little dated now because they are always
Okay.
updating them due to technology and social media.
Uh-huh.
But Mark Gregston, if you guys don't know who Mark
Oh,
Gregston is, has
okay.
a facility down in Texas for kids
Yes.
who need rehabbing, whether it's emotional rehabbing, drug rehabbing, and he helps them get their GED and gives them a skill. And it's a Christian program.
Okay.
So he's had 30 years of guiding lost kids.
Oh, wow.
And his book is called Tough Guys and Drama Queens. And
Okay.
like I said, the technology or social media piece may be a little outdated because it's going to be 10, 12 years
Right.
old. But the basis of the book of Tough Guys and Drama Queens was that one, and Teenology were my two favorite books of the how-to books.
Okay. I'm going to look those up. I took a note on that. All right. Well, just a couple more questions for you, Jody. If you could have anyone serve alongside you and what you're doing right now, who would that person be? Who is somebody that could describe that, kind of like that avatar, your person that would serve alongside you? Who would that person be?
Which is kind of a funny question because we just recruited 7 new mentors, like literally last week for our program.
Well, we probably need more.
Yeah, and I feel so, I think the difference of I don't know how to phrase it. Like, some people do better in group leads. I think with this mentor being more the one-on-one, more of that intimate, smaller group setting. So I think people who like more that one-to-one connection versus maybe a whole class or whole group connection. Right. And there's some mentors that have 2 and 3 mentors, but they still meet with each of them individually.
Okay.
I think women who really just want to love on some college girls and, share your faith, hear their story, be that listening ear. And, we're not doing anything that a mom doesn't already do. Sometimes it's just listening to them. Sometimes it's inviting them over for a Sunday dinner. My girl Sandra doesn't have a driver's license, so we pick her up and bring her to church with us. That so we're not asking you to have the Bible memorized or be able to quote verses or, it's that being a listener and showing them your faith, modeling and showing them and being that ear to listen and helping them navigate through something.
Right. That is so good. That's so good. I know it's so needed. So do you just pick the time and the date that you meet with your person?
Yeah, a lot of it varies. I text them on Sunday nights to ask for their weekly prayer.
Okay.
And then Sandra, I see every week because we pick her up for church. But then we've gone out to lunch a couple times. We've had her here for a family dinner. We had her here for Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
She needed a ride to the airport. I took her to the airport. So it all just kind of, one day we went hiking through the botanical gardens. Tomorrow I'm meeting Sandra for coffee and we're going to hike botanical gardens. So it depends on their availability, and they're busy too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you got to respect their time, and
that they have
it
a lot
goes through
on.
ebbs and flows.
Yeah. That's so good. Oh, it's so good, Jody. Okay. So if somebody wanted to become someone like you to mentor, or if you're a young person and you want a mentor, who would be the best person to contact? Would you be that contact person, or?
So myself and Beth Pepper, just this past week, kind of took over the reins from Trish on that.
Okay.
And so, yes. And what we have decided is this is the only year we are going to do a mid-year call out. It's a little tough bringing people in mid-year. So everybody's going to finish out this year. And then what we do is we're going to have like an exit survey for our mentors. Like, what did you like? What would you change? Are you going to come back next year? And some people through different seasons, whether it's travels or stuff going on at home, may step back, but they're always welcome, to reconnect and come back. So if you're looking to jump in, the next call out is we're actually going to do the call out for the mentors in August. Before the kids get here. And then we'll make a couple call outs for them. And then in September, we'll start making the call outs for the students. And then Beth and I will pair people together, and then we do a launch meeting. And we've actually already set the dates out already for when that's going to happen. So I don't have them in front of me, but I do know it's in September. And so it'll be a chance where the mentors and mentees get to meet for the first time. And then from there, they pick it up. But then because we're not going to do a mid-year call out, you'll stay with that student for the entire year. Unless something happens where, you physically can't, or you're finding it's not the right fit for you or something, but you'll have that student for the next year. And then we start all over again. Cause we're finding most of the mentees are typically upperclassmen or graduate programs that, and Trish kind of pointed this out. A lot of the rally kids may be more like freshman, sophomore. And then as they get older, they either have different issues or they're a different spot in their journey at Faith or Clemson. So we're finding more of the students tend to be the upperclassmen. So, you'll phase out in a year or two of having your person, that it's, do you want to pick somebody else up?
They're going to move on. It's such a need, and it's such like a niche little, I don't know, a department, so to speak, within the women's ministry. So, but I love it. I know I have found, having my girls over tonight is like one of my highlights. So when they come and we talk and we share and open up and pray, and it's super fun. So I highly recommend either getting yourself a mentor if you're one of the younger ones watching this, but if you think that you have just any time to give whatsoever, it's not a huge time commitment. And I promise you, it's so life rewarding. Giving back.
And what's interesting is that we have a wide range of mentors. Like the youngest mentor, she's in her late 20s. There's several in their, maybe a couple in their 30s. I think there's several in their 40s. There's some of us in our 50s, and there's one or two in the 60s. So don't think you have to be a mom already, because the girl in her 20s is not a mom yet. Don't think you have to be a certain age or arrive to be a mentor, that anybody can do it.
Anybody can do that. It's so good. Okay, Jody, I'm going to wrap this up with one last question here for you. I want you to tell us, outside of all the church stuff and mentoring, what is something that you do for fun?
I am an outdoor girl. So I guess probably the best answer I'll give you is every Friday, my husband and I do what's called Falls Friday, where we go waterfall hunting on Fridays, because there's over 300 waterfalls in South Carolina. Who knew? And so because we get warmer weather year round here than we did in Illinois, we try and go waterfall hunting on Fridays. And other than that, we try and get out on the water.
Yeah, that's so fun. Do you guys have a boat already?
We do, but it's for sale. So if anybody is looking for an XT25, we're trying to sell it because it's too big. We have a community boat dock. And we can't get a lift in there. It's too big. And so
is it a pontoon?
No,
Or
it's a sporting boat. It's a wake surf ski boat.
oh
Because
man.
we all still surf and ski
Yeah.
and
That's so
stuff. So
that's so
yeah.
fun.
But
Okay.
we had a boat in Illinois and sold it, and then
Okay.
got one here, and it's too big for the community. The boat fits in the slip, but if you
Okay.
want to get a lift, the lift was too big. And so we're trying to regroup and turn around and sell it. So
Yeah. Okay.
anybody looking for a boat, let me know.
Oh, huh. We have a bass boat. My son's really into bass fishing right now. So I'd love like a wake surfing boat, but I don't have that. I can't have any more boats in the driveway right now. So anyways,
I
all
get
right.
it.
Well, Jody, thank you so much for your time doing this. This was a lot
Yeah,
of
thank
fun. And
you.
it was
is
good
fun.
it was good to meet you. And if you've watched this and you made it all the way to the end, be sure to reach out to Jody or myself or Katie or anyone. Just send us a message if you'd like to be either a mentor or you would like a mentor, you would like to be a you'd like to have someone mentor you, or if you just want to get involved in any capacity whatsoever. We're always looking for leaders and volunteers to help us with either setup, with the prayer team, with cleanup, with sending out memos and messages and all kinds of stuff. There's always a way to serve, and we would love to have you join us on the team. So thanks, Jody, and thanks for watching.
You're
And we'll
welcome.
see you guys all hopefully in the next month in April. The second Thursday of the month is when our women's gathering is going to be at 7:00. Doors open at 6:30. And then I know in the summertime we're going to be having some more like fellowships and things like that. And I don't know, we've got a lot in store and a lot planned, and we can't wait to share with all of you. So thanks again, Jody. Any last words?
No.
Nope.
I can't wait to like actually meet and do coffee with you or something sometime, since we don't know each other well.
Exactly. Okay. After this, we might be planning a waterfall trip. So, all right. Take care.